What we achieve in life is directly proportionate to what we attempt.
Yes.
And I always said, if we attempt about 7 or 8 touchdown passes, we're going to hit three of 8, 3 or 4. I don't know that we threw the ball and caught it on about 2 or 3 and scored that first touchdown. And then we got down, hit a pass, got down the 10-yard line again. And I'm up there saying, man, throw it in the end zone, throw it in the end zone. Yeah, we'd run a couple, throw a sideways pass. We never throw it past the goal line. And then we get the ball the other times, and we had the 2 deep passes, like we overthrew one and underthrew the other one. And
they both would have been.
We didn't capitalize on the big play possibility.
Another Dooley Noted podcast comes to you from the Coach's Podcast Room at Spurrier's Gridiron Grill in Celebration Point. Okay, welcome into another Dooley Noted podcast presented by Titan MRI and Imaging. Coming to you from the Meldon Law Gator studios here at Spurrier's Gridiron Grill. Coach Spurrier will be joining us a little bit later. Talk to him about the Florida-Georgia game. Robbie Andrew for Yes, No, Where, Maybe. Always love Mondays here on the show. We do have Chris Doring will be joining us on Thursday because it's Kentucky week. Doring's got a touchdown. And then next week, well, obviously we'll have Coach Spurrier on Monday, and then Richard Cross, who is I've known him for a long time, and he's great. He does the Ole Miss sidelines, and he does a lot of stuff for ESPN. Really good dude, too. Has his own radio show. We're going to have him on to talk to us about the Ole Miss game coming up that week. So we're working hard. Our 500th episode is going to be on 2 weeks from now. And our guest is going to be Urban Meyer. So we wanted to get a special guest, and he's going to join us. So we'll get him on. That's in 2 weeks. Anyway, let's go ahead and get to our Royal Blue starting 5. It is brought to you by our good friend Randy Royal at Royal Blue Yacht Sales. Does a great job over there. And you can go and get a hold of him. He will take care of you. Let's go to our Royal Blue starting 5. And number 1 is, look, and I tweeted this out, and I actually wrote, I'm writing for Patreon and now, and I'm going to put a lot more content up there now. I really want to, I've got too much time on my hands, so I'm going to try to put a lot of content up there. And the first thing I wrote was the 5 reasons Florida lost, and I also said the same thing on Twitter, but I'm just saying it to you guys. One team knows how to win, and one team doesn't. That's the simplest way to look at that Florida-Georgia game. Kirby Smart's a really good coach. He's the best coach in the conference right now. Now that Saban's out. He's one of the best coaches in the country. He knows what he's doing. And Florida does not. Florida has not known what they were doing for 16 years, 13 years, whatever it is, since Urban left. So that was the difference to me, is that one team knows how to win, one team doesn't. One team on 4th and 1 could have kicked a field goal to go up 6, and now you can't tie the game with a field goal. And okay, you went for it. I don't mind the aggressiveness, but I don't like to play. Right up the middle, they're all bunched in, spread them out. Oh, it's just so frustrating. The 4th and 4, I wouldn't have gone for it there. I would have just gone ahead and punted it away, counted on my defense to make a play, get the ball back with a fresh set of downs, maybe with a minute and a half to go. Still had a chance. The bottom line is Florida can't get a break. We all know that. They're one of the unluckiest. This is what I call Zook luck. Zook was the unluckiest coach I ever saw. Muschamp kind of had the same problems. I don't know that McElwain kind of overcame that. I mean, look at when the hurricane came and they had to go to Baton Rouge and play that game. And in the last game of the year, place was electric. He found a way to win that game. He knew how to win games, I got to say. McElwain did. Mullen knew how to win games. Remember the Mississippi State game? They ran that same blitz with the same player that they ran the other night, which was to safety blitz, and it worked really well and almost turned into a fumble. I will say this though: they didn't get any breaks, But I didn't disagree with either call, and here's why. The first play, as soon as it happened, I went, I think his arm was going forward. I don't think that's going to hold up. The fumble that I think Bryce Thornton recovered it and ran it back a little bit. That was a big play, and certainly, I wouldn't like the ball was kind of coming out as he started forward, but I get why they overturned it. Okay. The second play, the Sturdivant catch, if they'd ruled it a catch, they would not have overturned it. There's no question. They would have held it up. But since they ruled it no catch, I couldn't tell. And I got to be honest with you. I'm like, I don't think it's going to hold up because I just don't see enough to overturn it. And that's the problem. Look, officiating in this conference is not good. We all know that. But the bottom line is you got to make your own breaks. How about that? Let's try to do that from now on. Let's make your own frickin' breaks. Let's make big plays. Let's score a lot of points. Let's win games. This team doesn't have it in its DNA. And I'm not going to blame the players. I'm sorry. I'm not going to blame the players. And here's why. You look at that game and you watch that game and you went, those two teams are at worst even in talent. Now, I know that Georgia's got a very young team. So does Florida. Florida's playing without its two best receivers for most of the game. In fact, Dallas Wilson out for the year now with his foot injury. So Florida's playing without its two best players, two best receivers, and still, talent-wise, they were right about the same. I think they were about 50, one team's 7-1, one's 3-4. 3-5, sorry. One team knows how to win, one team doesn't. And that's the bottom line. They've got to get better. I thought they were and I never want to blame people for being too aggressive, but they got too aggressive with their blitzes on the winning drive for Georgia. And everywhere they went with a blitz, Georgia went the other way, if you notice that. If they were blitzing from here, Georgia was running it here, and that's where the touchdown came, right up, not really up the middle, but kind of off the guard. They blitzed the corner earlier in that drive. They threw it right to the receiver he wasn't covering. And again, they're smart. They do a good job. Florida doesn't do a good job in those kind of things. And again, this goes back to the bottom line here. Whoever you hire is whoever you hire. I have no say in it. I have no money in it. I have some skin in it, though. Whoever you hire better be a winner. And I mean better be a winner. I don't want to hear about, Billy Napier was a winner. Yeah, in the Sun Belt, okay? They better find a guy who has won at a Power 5 school, Power 4 school. And I don't care who it is. I really don't at this point. Everybody wants to go on and on about Lane Kiffin, and I'm like, I just don't see the Lane Kiffin thing working because they're in the playoff. We know that. That's not going to work. If you can guarantee you're going to get him and you can tell players that, I don't even know that that's good. I mean, I don't know that that's fair to Ole Miss's team. My gut is he's going to stay at Ole Miss. Anyway, that's my take on the game, but I've got more takes on it. And in fact, I could have done 9 takes on it, but we're only going to have 5 things here. So let's get to number 2 on our Royal Blue starting 5, and that is, look, I said this at halftime. I'm going to say it after the game. My wife was out there making us a nice little snack, and I said, maybe we just need to take the opinion that DJ Lagway is just an average quarterback. He's not elite. He's not great. He is only a sophomore. He still hasn't started a ton of games, but he's started enough. He's just not elite. He's okay. He's not great. They brought the running game back for him, and he did make some really nice runs. Why he didn't run it on 4th and 1, I don't know. I don't understand why they would make that call. I don't know. If you looked at DJ Lagway's footwork, especially in the first half, it was pathetic. It was as if he has never been coached. He relies on his arm strength too much. and doesn't see the whole field. In fact, I've talked about this before. In fact, I said in fact twice there. I was talking to Chris Doring about this. And I was saying, Lagway doesn't see the whole field. He doesn't make second. He goes, Pat, he goes, in college football, that's not what it's about. It's about taking one side of the field and figure out, which is basically what Tennessee does. They make one side of the field where you're going to go with the ball, and then it's what the routes are being run. But you go back to the 4th and 4 play. They ended the game, basically. And obviously he threw a pass that could have been intercepted. It was just Trey Wilson was totally covered. Behind him, though, if you look, there is, I think it was Hawkins, was running about a 15-yard out pattern and was wide open. You lock into the guy that's covered instead of the guy that's open. This is the problem that they have at Florida right now. Their quarterback play is mediocre at best. I'm not saying they should bring in the other guy. I'm not sure they can. I'm not sure that the NIL is not in the way of it. I'm just saying, if you think Florida's going to go on a run here now all of a sudden because they're good enough to have played right there with Georgia, a team that's 7-1 and probably going to the playoffs. They're good enough to do that. They're not good enough to overcome some of the coaching mistakes and their quarterback play, which has been very average this year. Did he regress from last year? I think last year's end of the season is a little bit overblown about how good it was. I mean, they won because they played great defense down the stretch. And they did make some plays. Don't forget, FSU lost 8 fumbles against Florida, and they still had a hard time putting them away. Their red zone offense is awful. He's not good in the red zone. I can't wait to hear what Coach has to say about this. We'll talk about that, I'm sure. The bottom line is they went 2 for 11 on 3rd down. Some of that's on your quarterback. Some of that's on your play caller. Some of that's on your head coach. Some of the interim head coach. But it is what it is. And, it's funny because if he just plants, now again, I know he's scrambling and it's hard to plant and assume nobody's coming from the side. But if he plants his feet and throws it to J. Michael Sturdivant, he's Lindsey Scott to a point. I mean, he was so far behind the defense. Instead, he throws it off one foot, kind of hopping in the air, and it's way short, and that's why it became a play that the referees had control of. Just throw the ball to the player. Throw it to his chest. As you can tell, I'm frustrated with this loss. All right. Let's move along to number 3 on our Royal Blue starting 5. And yeah, it's not going to be a lot of good news here. But the bottom line is Florida is about to have its another losing season. Its 6th losing season in the last 13 years. Did you think when you walked off the field, I don't want to say walked out of the stands at the Outback Bowl in 2011, I guess it would be, technically, it was the first day of 2011, that Florida was about to go on a run where they would have 6 losing seasons in 13 years? Florida doesn't have losing seasons. Even their bad teams found a way to win 7 or 8 games. And this goes back to Napier. Napier is responsible for 3 of these. 3 of the 6. Obviously, Muschamp had the bad one in his 3rd year. Lost his quarterback, lost his best defensive player in injuries, but it shouldn't have been that much. They lost a lot of players to injuries. He had Zook. Still, should have been better than that. Couldn't have lost to Georgia Southern. Obviously, McElwain, kind of when he got fired, they had ended up with a losing season. Randy Shannon had no chance with that team. And then Mullen, his last year after he kind of quit, ended up being a losing season. So the next 3 out of 4, right, would have been all under Napier. And that is, now I will say this, there could be a point in our lives where we all look back on what Napier did structure-wise in the organization and go, he really helped get Florida. He's the new Charlie Pell. He helped Florida I don't think that's going to happen. I don't think that's ever going to happen. And first of all, I don't think their structure is that great, to be honest with you. I've heard from many people that it's a little disorganized. But anyway, I'm not going to worry about that. He's gone. Maybe we will. And I was thinking about this. Would this game have been different if Napier was still the head coach? And I was going, yeah, they probably would have lost 24-14 instead of 24-20. Look, it was the same thing. I love that they started the game in 3 wides. Okay, there, okay. But it's just I think, this team has got to get out of the mentality, and I'm going to ask Coach about that, how he got the mentality to change when he got here about that Georgia game. But they got to get out of the losing mentality. They play hard. They just aren't good enough. They're not coached well enough. They don't block well enough. Look, that's the bottom line, is they just aren't. The offensive line has not lived up to expectations, and they've had a lot of injuries. And look, a lot of reasons why Florida's not good. The bottom line is they're 3-5, and they're not going to win 3 more games. They're not going to get bowl eligible. You know that. We all know that. However, Florida is favored. The line has dropped. It started out at 4, went down to 3.5. Now I think it's at 3. MyBookie.ag is a place to go for your spreads. 5 straight for Georgia makes me sick to my stomach. I want to throw up. It's just, some of these games were not winnable, but this was certainly a winnable game, and it could have changed the whole dynamic around here. But it is what it is. And people who have told me, and I've heard this from several people, it's pretty. At least those guys played hard, and they had a chance to win the game. Yeah, they did, but they didn't win it. That's my point. They don't know how to win games. Well, they beat Texas. All right, at home, okay? They don't know how to win games on the road. How about that? I mean, don't forget, they were all coming off a bye week when they played Texas. And what did they do the next week? They got humiliated by Texas A&M in a game they could have won too, but they ended up, I don't know. You can tell where my frustration level is. All right, let's get to number 4, our Royal Blue starting 5, which is we have another opening in the SEC. Yay! It's only a fourth of the conference that's fired their coaches. That's all. 4 coaches now with 4 teams with openings. Hugh Freeze gets fired. 6-16 in the SEC, but when you score 3 points at home against Kentucky and lose the game 10-3, I don't think anybody was looking at that and go, I think he'll be all right. No, everybody knew Hugh Freeze was going to be gone. It's just what was happening again. I have to keep repeating this because I was so wrong that I didn't think coaches would get fired this year. And we've got 4 conference opponents fired, or conference teams who fired their coaches. It could be a 5th and a 6th. I mean, who knows how many it's going to go, how far it's going to go. The question is obviously going to be what does Auburn do, because they aren't getting Lane Kiffin. Do they go after like a Jimbo Fisher or somebody like that? I don't know. There's not enough elite coaches. We talked about this, I think, a couple of weeks ago. There's not enough elite coaches to fill all these openings. There are enough coaches that are good coaches that may turn out to be elite, like Cignetti. Nobody thought when he got hired, everybody's like, oh, Cignetti, man, that's a great hire. Nobody thought that. Now they do. So maybe if you can find a guy like that, but I just want a coach who knows how to win. That's the key. Also, this weekend, of course, it was by the way, DJ Durkin was the interim coach at Florida. Now he's the interim coach at Auburn. He's good at being interim. And he was a head coach for a while. And he's a guy that, like, if they turned it around and finished out with wins and beat Alabama, he could end up being the permanent head coach. I don't think that's the way Auburn operates. And that's what Florida has become, Auburn. You don't do it in 3 years, you're gone. Don't do it, sorry, you're gone. 3.5, you're gone. There were a lot of great games. Tennessee basically eliminated. I think they're eliminated from the college football playoff by Oklahoma. It was a great game. Loved watching that game at night. As I've said, multiple times this year, I am not letting Florida ruin my college football season. It's too important to me. I love it. So that was interesting. And now, there's a lot of people up there that aren't really happy with their coach. Miami losing, there's a lot of people down there not really happy with their coach because they lost at SMU, stormed the field, SMU did. That was a weird game. Carson Beck, that pick he threw was terrible at the end of the game in overtime. Dabo wants to know if he's getting fired. He got fined. I don't think he's getting fired. I don't think Clemson is going to do that. Again, with all the stuff that's going on with all these openings at high-profile programs, I don't think Clemson wants to get in that mix. And then the Vandy, Texas game, I got to be honest with you, I turned it off. I flipped. I had 3 TVs going. I loved it. I actually had 4 at one point, but I ended up with 3. But that game, Texas is killing them. It's over. I didn't even realize they came back and had an onside kick and had the ball, had a chance to get it, but that was interesting. Great game for Arch Manning, though, in that game. All right. Let's get to number 5 on our Royal Blue starting 5, which is, we always do this on Mondays. Steve and Christine Wendig from Boss Heart Realty present our Olympic Gator Athlete of the Week end. And in this case, I'm giving it to all the women who won the cross-country SEC championship. Believe it or not, I watched it. Now, it is a kind of a sad life when you're watching cross-country on TV. But I watched it, and I watched a Gator win the men's. A freshman won the men's individual. They didn't do too good. They don't have a depth. But the women have this great depth, and they're talking about how Florida has got the deepest team. And I'm like, I'm going to watch this. So they won, and it was great. I was watching all those Gators cross the finish line. They won, and that was good. So we've got an SEC title, okay? Nobody has to worry about it next year. Or this year, because remember last year we were thinking, Florida hadn't won an SEC championship and anything, and then they won a couple. And golf, I think, was the first one. Anyway, give them a lot of credit. All the women on the cross country team, they are Steve and Christine Wendig, Olympic Gators of the weekend. We also want to mention that soccer season is over. It ended yesterday, 1-0 loss to Kentucky. I did watch a little bit of that. It is a sad existence. I hate to say it. I did watch a little bit of that soccer match, but once Kentucky was up 1-0, I go, Florida doesn't score. So their only goal was to get it to 0-0. 6, 7, and 5 was the final record for Florida, and they're not making the NCAA's, obviously. 6-7. They were 6-7. So I had the kid do that to me on Halloween night. Come up, and as he's walking away, he goes, 6-7. I go, what does that mean? And nobody knows what it means. It's just something that everybody does. 6-7.
It's my birthday.
It's your birthday. Okay. That's what it is. I got it. Well, 6-7-5 is their record. And look, they played hard all year. They played great defense. They had a good goalkeeper. And they got to find weapons on offense. I got to mention volleyball losing, too. They lost to South Carolina, which had 2 conference wins coming in. They lost in 4 sets. 15 service aces. Maybe they're getting tired. I don't know. But they just beaten Georgia on Friday in Athens, and they go to Columbia, South Carolina, where I'm sure there wasn't anybody there, and lose. So that certainly was not good for volleyball to lose that. All right. That is our Royal Blue starting 5. Let's take a break. When we come back, the HBC is going to join us. And don't forget, we got Robbie Andrew coming up for Yes, No, Where, Maybe as well. We'll be back with more of another Dooley Noted podcast presented by Titan MRI and Imaging, coming to you from the Meldon Law Gator studio here at Spurrier's Gridiron Grill.
Titan MRI, North Central Florida's premier independent diagnostic testing MRI facility. At Titan MRI, we're focused on you, the patient, having a great customer experience. Our MRI equipment is modern and 75% quieter than any unit in its class. And our MRI unit has one of the largest openings of any of the newer high-strength MRI units, which allows comfortable scanning for potential claustrophobic and larger patients. At Titan MRI, we look forward to serving you.
Gator fans, football season is here. What's better than seeing the Gators back on the field? Easy. seeing amazing speakers and fellow Gator fans weekly at the Gainesville Quarterback Club. Held every Tuesday night of a home game at the Best Western Gateway Grand. Enjoy happy hour, great food, valuable insights from yours truly and Andy Staples, plus notable speakers throughout the season. As the oldest Gator booster club in the world, Gainesville Quarterback Club gives you access to elite speakers like coaches, NCAA football insiders, Gator greats, and more. Share your passion for Gator football with hundreds of other members at weekly in-season meetings, home tailgates, and special events throughout the year. Join the Gainesville Quarterback Club today. Email the club at membership@quarterbackclub.org or visit thequarterbackclub.org. Or better yet, just give me a call and I'll get you to the right people.
Meldon Law has been serving personal injury victims since 1971. In those days, Jeffrey Meldon's presence as an attorney in the music scene dubbed him with the nickname the Hippie Attorney. And although times have changed, two things haven't: our commitment to bettering our community by helping the injured,
Albert, are you ready to go to the game?
and our love for the Florida Gators.
If you bleed orange and blue, Meldon Law is the firm for you.
Hey Gator fans, the holidays are here, and you know what that means. Great food everywhere. Pies, cookies, all the food we just can't resist. But here's the thing, you don't have to give it all up to lose weight and be healthy this holiday season. BMI TeleMed can help you enjoy the holidays and keep your weight on track. Their medical weight loss program gives you the medication and the support and the guidance you need. You can still enjoy the holiday food, you'll just eat less of it. So you can actually lose weight and not add the pounds most of us do this time of year. Start the new year ahead of the game. Visit our friends and Gator alums, Charlie Gonzalez and Bob Parado, at bmitelemed.com to learn more. That's BMI TeleMed, achieve and maintain. Okay, welcome back to another duly noted podcast presented by Titan MRI and Imaging, coming to you from the Meldon Law Gator Studios at Spurrier's Gridiron Grill, and of course Meldon Law, the sponsor of Coach Spurrier's appearances here on Meldon Mondays. We always love when Coach Spurrier's in here, and of course did not go well in Jacksonville. They played hard. I got no problem with the effort. I got no problem, but it's still the same Gators who find a way not to win the game, which and Georgia, on the other hand, finds a way to win all these games, even though they've won games with 48 points. They won games with 24 points. They just find a way to win.
Yeah, I really, like everybody said, our talent's just as good.
Yes.
Maybe even better than Georgia. I mean, we got ball players all over the place, but we're sort of missing something, expecting to win, whereas Georgia, they expect to win, even though they're behind a little bit in the fourth quarter. But I wish we had tried more scoring plays. I read something one time that's so true in life. To be successful in life, you usually get let me say this again. All right, what we achieve in life is directly proportionate to what we attempt.
Yes.
And I always said, if we attempt about 7 or 8 touchdown passes, we're going to hit three of 8, 3 or 4. I don't know that we threw the ball and caught it on about 2 or 3 and scored that first touchdown. Then we got down, hit a pass, got down 10-yard line again. And I'm up there saying, man, throw it in the end zone, throw it in the end zone. Yeah, we'd run a couple, throw a sideways pass. We never throw it past the goal line. And then we get the ball the other times, and we're not. We had the 2 deep passes, like we overthrew one and underthrew the other one. And
they both would have been.
We didn't capitalize on the big play possibility. But the 4th and 1 play was obviously the turning point in the whole game, in my opinion. But we had 2nd and 1, and then we had 3rd and 1, and then 4th and a half yard. And even the last call, they got everybody up front. We ran a play just straight up the middle.
Right at them.
Man, I was hoping one of those downs, some kind of little special play where you sprint out, hand it to the back to the right. He pitches to the wide receiver. Remember Doring throwing to Terry Dean and all those guys? It worked every time we called it because we only call it once or twice a year. But anyway,
Travis hit Doug Johnson on one of those too.
Yeah, he threw Doug one in the Florida-Georgia game.
Yeah.
That's right. But, that play almost always works because we hadn't thrown it all year. Just some special, do something special. And a touchdown there would have put us up 10. with about 6 minutes or so.
Might
have made a difference. Who knows? But they controlled the fourth quarter as it turned out, and we got beat again. They've won 9 out of 10. Pat.
I know.
That's sad.
It's kind of like what you did the other way, opposite way. Yeah, you won 11 out of 12.
11 of 12. And it looks like Kirby's on the way to 11 of 12, and so forth.
Well, and that's what's depressing is this was another opportunity for Florida to win a game, and it would have been a huge win. And again, if Lagway throws the ball off 2 feet to Sturdivant there, I mean, he's our Lindsey Scott now. He's way behind the defense, and everybody's freaking out, and they probably win the game. But I wouldn't have gone for it on 4th and 4 either. I mean, it's 3.5 minutes to go. Go ahead and punt it away. Let you play defense. They're just going to run the ball and get the ball back and try to win the game. But, I mean, the quarterback situation is still an issue at Florida. And it's still – I mean, I know that Bubba was coaching them, but you can only do so much. You can't make him –
Well, he's not coaching all the quarterbacks.
Yeah, but he's –
Ryan O'Hara's quarterback coach. He sort of worked with the backup kid, Tramel Jones, most of the time.
Yeah.
But, somebody's asking me why doesn't Florida give Tramel Jones an opportunity? And I said, well, I don't know, but you have to ask the coaches that. All I know is in 2000, when we won our last SEC, Jesse Palmer would come in when Rex was going bad and win the game for us. We did it at Georgia, as a matter of fact, one of those years, I'm sure. But playing 2 quarterbacks ain't no big deal to me. But to most people, they're not going to change their quarterback.
Well, yeah, and I think that that's the thing. They have invested an awful lot in DJ Lagway. An awful lot of money, an awful lot of time, an awful lot of hiding injuries, to be honest with you. But the bottom line is they've got to get – I don't know that he's going to ever be the answer. And I just don't know that but that's – I'm not going to sit here and bash a sophomore for not getting the job done. That goes back to the coaches and all the coaches and – head coach, especially when he was the head coach and invested so much in him, and it hasn't worked out. But I mean, that Georgia team is vulnerable, man. I mean but they find a way to win games because Kirby knows what he's doing. He's been around this a long time. He's probably the best coach in this conference right now.
Oh, definitely.
Because Saban's gone now.
In conference games, I think he's like 38-3
Yeah.
in conference games over the last. Was that 4 years? 38-3, 41. Yeah, they play about 9 or 10, counting the playoffs and so forth. So, Kirby's got an excellent record there, and that's why he's highest paid coach in America, I guess, right now, and he's earned it. So anyway,
and let's just go back to when you came to Florida, and you obviously you made Georgia a high priority, right? Winning that game, and
yes.
I mean, how do you change the mindset of a team that's lost? Because don't forget, you guys had lost the last 5 years in a row or 4 years in a row to them before you got here.
Well, let's see, we had lost 8 of 10 and 14 of 18, something like that, I think they said. We had a much better team the first year, much better team. In fact, 38-7. I was upset. We fumbled on the 1 yard line, first and goal at the 1. Shane didn't get the snap. And I said, what are y'all doing out there? So I was a little irritated, but we still won the game and won the first 7. And then we started winning some close ones also with them. My favorite was the 92 game that they were favored. They were favored, and we beat them 26-24. And that day, South Carolina actually beat Tennessee by 1 point. I think 25-24. So all we had to do is beat Vandy and win the Eastern Division. First year of division play, and then almost beat national champ Alabama in the championship game. So that was my favorite game because other than that, we were favored every year. So, we're supposed to beat them. That's what I told our guys. We're supposed to beat those guys. We're better than them.
Yeah.
If we lose to Georgia, especially that first and second year, that's embarrassing to us because the Georgia players after the game back then, after they beat Florida prior to 90, they'd say, we want it more than they do. That's why we beat them.
Exactly.
They're bigger and stronger and faster and all that, but we want it more than they do. So they challenged our character and everything about us. So we had a lot to prove every time we played them.
Well, wasn't it after 92 when you said Georgia gets all those great recruits. I don't know what happens to them when they get up there.
Oh, I don't know if I said that, but they were during recruiting season, after they signed a class, we'd had some write-ups. Ray Goff would say, man, this is one of the best classes we ever had. And then all of a sudden the game comes, and he's saying, Florida's a lot bigger than us. They got bigger, stronger, faster players. Our kids are going to have to play their hearts out just to hang in there with them. I'd say, what happened back in recruiting season? You told them about how great they were. But that was just coach speak. And Coach Vince Dooley was good at that.
Oh, he was the best.
Coach Dooley was such a nice, honest guy. We all believed him.
Yeah.
So they had the Gators. They had the Gators set up to beat us, and so we tried to eliminate that, and I think we did. So anyway, that's a long time ago. Yeah.
Vince was the king of poor mouthing.
Yeah.
He would say the Vanderbilt's got the best band we've seen so far this year. So, he was just. He was very good at it, and he won a lot of games.
Yeah, but I hope we still got time to turn it around for Billy Gonzalez and this team. And if we win 3 of the next 4, we're bowl eligible. Got to win. Got to be 6-6. And what are we, 3-5 right now?
3-5, yeah.
3-5. So we can have a halfway successful season if they start winning here. We got Kentucky, who can play defense, not much offense, but they play defense. So it'll be a good test up there.
Speaking of them playing defense, we have another firing in the SEC with Hugh Freeze getting knocked out. I think Hugh pretty well because he's a big golfer.
He's a good golfer.
But I mean, look, when he scored 3 points at home, I said that's it, he's done. And he don't forget 6-16 in the SEC. That's not what they hired him for.
Yeah, his record is what it is, and but he's going to make all these coaches are getting fired. They're going to make the same amount.
Yeah, it's not like they're going to go to the poorhouse.
They don't have to earn it. Yeah, he doesn't have to go to work every day and hear everybody criticize him, and he's going to get the same amount of money. But that's just the way they do it, and assistant coaches, they have guaranteed contracts too. Some of them do. So
I see Mike Shula got fired up at South Carolina.
Their offense has really struggled this year. And I mean, Mike Shula is a good coach, but for whatever reason, they really have struggled.
Yeah, they don't block. That's the biggest reason.
Well, they
brought Elliott back, and he's trying to do the best. But
Lenore Sellers is a running quarterback, and he's good at it. And Ole Miss played the defense I don't think I've ever seen before. They rushed actually 2 guys, and they had 2 spies, and then they had all the other guys back there. They're rushing 2 guys.
Yeah.
So they're saying, Lenore's, we'll give you all day to throw because you're not going to hit anybody. But you ain't going to run. You ain't going to run on us because I got a guy here that gets him that way, and that guy gets him that way, and they hem him in. And but that was interesting, but perfectly legal. So who's the D coordinator at Ole Miss? Is that a guy that used to be here?
No, it's
Durkin. It's not Durkin.
No, it's Pete Golding. Who used to be at Alabama. Durkin's at Auburn. He's now the interim coach.
That's right.
Yeah.
He's the interim guy. Yeah. But I hadn't seen that. I've seen a 1 spy guy, but I've never seen 2 to take the quarterback run. Yeah.
It's unbelievable that there were mock drafts before the season had Lenore's number 1 or number 2. I mean, but he doesn't throw the ball with any accuracy at all. So
he's always seems to be on the run. When
that's part of the problem.
He doesn't stay in the pocket very long, and of course they blame the O-line when that happens. But I'm not sure what all they're trying to do there offensively. But they were picked to have a big year, top 20, top.
They were.
It's going south on them now.
It is, and it's also going south for one of your old friends, and that's Dabo. And he got mad. He blamed the referees for this one. He got fined. They got fined $10,000. He got publicly reprimanded, which I'm sure really bothered him.
Yeah, they have had a very difficult year.
3-5. They're 3-5 too.
Yeah, they're just like us right now, and they were preseason top 6 in the country.
This was the year.
Number 4 or 5. Yeah. Oh yeah, Dabo was really happy with his team, and man, it has gone bad. But that was a interference call. The receiver ran into his guy, but his guy wasn't looking back.
Yeah.
for some reason, the DBs don't look back anymore. They just run and cover the guy, and if they hit him before the ball gets there, it's interference.
Exactly. Well, and that was a big story, and the other story was the Miami game where they lose because they have a personal foul where the whistle blows and the guy still comes in and hits him.
Yeah.
It's a quarterback, and my wife was saying, that shouldn't be a foul? And I go, no, the whistle blew.
Yeah.
It's a foul. You can't do that.
Yep, that is the way they're calling it now. They can call penalty almost any time on holding. And
well, this conference, they call more penalties than any conference.
Yeah. I don't. It's just anyway. It's a different day, and you hope some of the referees don't have a brother-in-law that's out gambling somewhere or betting on. I mean, everybody, they encourage you to bet on the games. The radio and TV guys, all right, you need to take the spread here, or take the over, take the under. I mean, gambling it's okay for the country, but if you're a participant, you can't get involved in it at all.
Well, I'm going to ask you because the NCAA came out and said you can gamble on pro sports, and now they've walked that back, and people are losing their minds about it. But I mean, to me, it's just encouraging people to spend their NIL money, and I don't know that that's a good idea.
Yeah, I don't think it should be legal for college athletes to gamble. They don't have to gamble. If they love gambling, wait till your playing days are over. If you play pro football, wait till those days are over, and then you can gamble all your money away if you want to. But if you're a participant right now, I'm like Commissioner Sankey. Players should not be gambling on any sport at all.
And speaking of gambling, obviously Gunnar Stockton taking a knee there at the end of the game costs a lot of people some money, and if they bet on Georgia, because and I know of people that bet the over, and that costs them the over too. But it's a smart move. If you kneel down, the game's over. If you score, it's not over because the other team can score.
Potentially they could run a kickoff.
They probably aren't, but at the same time, you still got to, it was a smart move. And Oklahoma player did the same thing against Tennessee. He stopped at the 1 and kneeled down. He almost accidentally scored, and then they scored on the next play. And I'm like, what's the point of that?
Yeah, I saw that. I saw that. Looked like he did score. He went down almost right on it, but they let him.
He was an inch short of the goal line.
Yeah.
Speaking of that Oklahoma-Tennessee game, our Campus USA play of the weekend comes from that game, and this is the play that caught my attention. And this guy just steals the ball from the quarterback, and he's dragging him forever, and then he pulls a hammy at the end, and
right there,
barely stays in bounds and scores. And at that point, Tennessee is getting ready to go down and score again and make it 14-0. And this ties the game up. It changed the whole night, to be honest with you, the whole game. And that crowd was, so into it, obviously. You got 105,000, whatever it is, losing it. You've been there. I mean, it's a loud place. And
yeah, that play right there ended up being the difference in the game. 33-27? So many close games. And, of course, that's great for television and the fans and everything. But excuse me. I was looking at a lot of the scores in the SEC. Mississippi State, Arkansas, 38-35. Texas Vandy, 34-31. OU, Tennessee, 33-27. And how about NC State, Georgia Tech, 45-36. Duke, 46. Clemson, 45. And we had two storm the field games, by the way.
SMUs?
I always like to see SMU. First time they'd be a ranked team in about 30 or 40 years. And NC State upset Georgia Tech. And so the NC State people stormed the field and had a big time.
I called that. I picked that.
NC State.
I picked NC State because I said they're a desperate team. Their coach knows how much he needs it. They're playing a top 10 team. This is a chance to do something special, and I had a feeling they were going to do that. But Georgia Tech tried to make it a game at the end, but they just couldn't stop them. I mean, their defense just went south. And that sometimes you don't know what's showing up. You don't know. Like, for example, I'm sure that, Hugh Freeze didn't think he was going to score 3 Saturday. I mean, he has no idea. But he kind of botched that by, starting a quarterback that hadn't started. Okay. Then he brings in Jackson Arnold to start the second half. And then for the last drive, he puts the other quarterback back in. Now, I know you like change of quarterbacks, but that seemed a little extreme to me.
Yeah. Well, the second guy didn't do any good, so we went back to the first guy. But I think I read in the paper today that we, the Gators, only made 166 yards all day. Is that right?
I think it was more than that.
It had to be more than
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. Well, don't trust what you read
Well,
in the paper.
but I do know we were 2 of 11 on third downs and 0 and 2 on fourth downs.
But that's what that's been the problem all year. 2 of
Third
11 on
downs,
third down. They had an
fourth
0
downs.
for 11, I think, against Miami, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Just getting first downs because, again, going back to what you're saying, Coach, they never throw the ball down the field. They just don't do it. And it's just not in that offense. And whoever they hire has got to come in here with a winning attitude and the ability to score some points. That's all I'm asking for. If you want to take the job, go ahead. But
Score points and make touchdowns. When we beat South Carolina, we beat Nebraska that game in the Capital One Bowl. Our second touchdown, we ran the halfback sweep left, and Bruce Ellington, receiver, goes downfield about 2 or 3 yards, comes back, flips it to him. The quarterback hands off, stands there a moment, and goes down the right sideline.
Yep.
So we hit that for a touchdown, I think, to get us up 16-14. We had a 2-point. We blocked an extra point and ran it all the way back. That's the other one. But we had 4 drives, got 28 points. And when you do that, you usually win. Our kicker had kicked 2 field goals, and we got 2 touchdowns, 2 field goals. 2 touchdowns, 2 field goals. And that wasn't quite enough, I guess.
yeah, well, that's the way it's going.
17,
But
20.
it's frustrating, and nobody's happy about it. But look, let's see who they get in here to change things up.
We
We'll
got
see how it
Kentucky this week. Got another opportunity.
Actually,
Yeah,
Florida's favored, believe it or not, in that
favored
game.
by 3 points.
On the road.
Yeah. I hope we go up there and try to really, really score some points. Just, throw the
wonder
ball
what-
in the end zone.
Yeah,
throw it in so.
I know.
Have a couple double reverses, fake reverse.
Yes, exactly.
Wide open. Got nothing
You gotta
to lose. Got nothing
Might
to
as well
lose.
come out and run a reverse on the first play.
Kickoff.
Yeah,
Kickoff. Might do the hidden ball play on the kickoff. Have you seen that one?
I remember that.
3
yeah.
guys get back there like this with their back to everything, and they all run like this. And you don't know who's got the ball, really. You almost got to tackle all 3 of them.
You used to run that play, not the kickoff. I don't know if you were in it on a kickoff, but
Not
you
the
ran
kickoff, yeah.
You ran it several times.
Hidden ball play.
Hidden ball play.
Yeah, 3 guys in the backfield.
Trouble is, you'd always give it to Bilkey, and he would.
Bilkey, we should have run it more, to tell you the truth. And another thing that I was thinking about later, on 4th and 1s, I started looking back, what did we do? And Danny Warfel, you remember the Vandy game, the year we won national championship, we're up 28-21, and we're trying to run out the clock.
You went for a 4th and 1.
4th
from
and
your own
1 in
29,
midfield.
right?
Yeah, our defense got on their heels somehow. I don't know how, but Vandy was running it down our throat, and it was 28-21. And we got into Emory and Henry. So we spread out. And, of course, they have to spread out with you. And Danny was able to sneak up and make a yard. And that's
Exactly.
when we beat
Why bunch up
yeah.
to run the ball? Spread out to run the ball.
when we upset Alabama at South Carolina 15 years ago. We had a 4th and 1. We were up 2 touchdowns, but we didn't want to. Something like that. So we got 4 wide receivers to the left, 1 over there, and Garcia was able to sneak for it. They almost always spread out with you. So I'm guilty also of getting everybody in tight, and they get everybody in tight. And you might as well do the tush push if you're going to do that.
Exactly.
If you're
and
going to
you've
do
got
that,
a 245-pound quarterback.
Yeah. We could put one of those big linemen behind him and do the push. That would have been a much better play than the back all by himself trying to attack the line. But getting empties and quarterback sneak, it seemed to always make it. But hell, I'm not coaching anymore,
You're
so
not.
I'm not going to see that play.
But you and I still agree.
Yeah.
You and I agree on everything. It's just I don't agree with
Yeah.
some of the things they're doing. But we'll see what happens. Coach, always appreciate it. We'll be back with more of another Dooley Noted podcast presented by Titan MRI and Imaging, coming to you from the Meldon Law Gator Studios here at Steve Spurrier's Gridiron Grill, right after this break. Adams Rib Company has been a staple of Gainesville for more than a decade and a staple of the Dooley house ever since Kelsey's teeth came in. The first time I walked into Adams, I told my daughter that the green beans are always a test of a great barbecue restaurant, and they were perfect. You know about the ribs that melt in your mouth, and my favorite, the turkey plate. But be sure to go in on Fridays for Nana's Fish Nuggets. They will melt in your mouth. Adams Rib Co., a Gainesville great.
Coach, you know what always impressed me, how you beat Florida State to win the 1996 National Championship.
And I was really impressed with your 06, 08, and 09 Gator teams.
And the way you coached Danny to the Heisman Trophy.
A lot like what you did with Tim Tebow.
You know, you won more SEC championships than you lost home games at the Swamp.
And you had plenty of super games in front of our Gator Nation.
Yeah, there really is something special about the Swamp.
I guess that's why we say about the Swamp, only the Gators get out alive.
To the Swamp and the Gators, with the best beverage served at Spurrier's Gridiron Grill, 100% agave, Los Landeros tequila, aged in bourbon barrels for a smoother taste.
I think you mean Head Beer Coach 1966 lager, a crisp, light, bodied lager for easy drinking.
Nope. Los Landeros tequila, smooth enough to drink neat and bold enough to elevate a cocktail.
1966 lager, enjoyed on game days in the fall or whenever you need a winning cold brew.
Los Landeros tequila.
1966 lager.
Los Landeros.
1966 lager.
Y'all stop bickering.
Okay, you're both wrong anyway. The best thing Spurrier's Gridiron Grill offers are Jerry's famous chocolate chip cookies.
At Royal Blue, we use such tools as AI, bulk email marketing, trade shows, Google search advertising, and multiple websites. We take a much more proactive approach to getting your boat sold in a timely manner. With our extensive client list and broker-dealer network, we can track down vessels that might be perfect for you and your family, that may not even be listed for sale yet, giving you the right of first refusal. We have spent the last 15 years in boat sales, observing and listening to our clients. In response to our findings, we have constructed a custom yacht brokerage that strives to fit their needs and not ours. Call us today to schedule a consultation to see what Royal Blue can do to solve all of your boating needs. Call Randy at 850-974-1294. Okay, and welcome back to another duly noted podcast presented by Titan MRI and Imaging, coming to you from the Meldon Law Gator Studios here at Spurrier's Gridiron Grill. On Mondays, we usually have Robbie Andrew, and we have him again today, and it's great to have him. Robert A., how are you?
Good, Pat. How was your weekend?
It was good. I totally vegged out Saturday and just watched football all day, and kind of did it again Sunday, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Me
it was
too.
fun. It was fun watching all the games. Saturday games were tremendous, and I know you enjoyed that Miami loss too.
Yeah, it's been great watching the reemergence of him, Carson Beck. He's got back to where he was last year, throwing picks. So good to have him back.
Yeah, that's a good point. I hadn't thought about it. Yeah, I think he's got 6 in the last 2 games or something like that.
Yeah.
So that last 3 games, whatever it is. But
Got a track record now.
Yep, track record. All right, we will get to Yes, No Way, or Maybe with Robbie Andrew, is brought to you by Big Mills Cheesesteak, and he's coming to you on the Big Mills Cheesesteak Zoom line as well. Of course, if you go in there and say you listen to this podcast, you get free fries with your order. We love our friends at Big Mills Cheesesteak. Well, let's go to number 1, Robbie, on Yes, No Way, or Maybe. Number 1, Mark Stoops can save his job if he beats Florida for the 3rd straight time at home.
Well, yeah, I think, he probably could, Pat. I mean, are any other coaches getting fired in the SEC? I mean, it's getting ridiculous at this point. So, yeah, his defense is really good. They could shut down Florida, win that game, save his job maybe. So, yeah.
Yeah, I think if he loses that game, he's in big trouble, because then they're not going to be bowl eligible and stuff like that. But look, you're right. They just gave up 3 points to Ole Miss and got that coach fired. So I don't think
Auburn,
Florida's.
Yeah, and did it at Auburn too. So
I know, at Auburn. When that game was over, I said Hugh Freeze is not surviving this. Three points at home.
Yeah, especially when he got booed especially when he got booed off the field at the end of the game, Pat, you knew it was time for him to go, and he's gone.
You know, fans are always saying, you know, I am going to withhold my support. I go, look, the bottom line is if you start chanting fire Billy, fire Hugh, fire Brian, that is going to be that's the best way to make your voice. Now, I don't agree with that because recruits are there, and I don't think you should do that. But hey, the frustration of fans gets very loud, and there'll be fire Stoopsy if he gets, like, if Florida went in there and blew him out, which I don't think they'll do, but because they don't blow out anybody unless they're Long Island. But if they went in there and blew him out, I would think that'd be the end for him. So we'll see. Number 2 on yes, nowhere, maybe, Robbie. The Florida FSU game at the end of the season will be winner goes to a bowl game.
I'm going to say maybe, but I don't think Florida's going to be the one that needs to win that game to get there, because I don't think they're going to win another game going into that game. So they're not going to be bowl eligible no matter what happens to that game. But I think FSU has a chance because they're lame schedule to get to 6. So, yeah, that could be a bowl game for FSU, not for Florida. Florida's going to be done by then.
They got to beat Kentucky. And here's the thing, though. Let's say you beat Kentucky and then you got to win 2 of the last 3. Okay, that gets you bowl eligible. But my thing is, I don't know that it's good that Florida goes to a bowl at this point. I mean, what is it going to solve? What is it going to It's not going to make anybody feel better.
Yeah, people say extra practice, but I mean, a lot of these guys aren't even going to be here next year, probably.
Exactly.
With a new coach coming in. So, yeah, I agree. Just end it and get it over with and start looking for the new coach and get things, things in order.
Not only that, but you've had 2 bye weeks. You've had plenty of time to have extra practices. It's not, so I don't think extra practices are going to do this team any good. I agree with you on that. A lot of people will be gone. There'll be a new coach. I don't see the point in it. If you win 6, okay, fine. Go ahead and go.
Yeah. But I don't see that happening. Do you, Pat?
I don't see them get. I'm not sure they're going to get to 4.
Yeah, where are your 3 wins going to come from?
Yeah, I don't see it either.
Tennessee at home, maybe. Kentucky, maybe on the road. FSU, maybe at home. But it's going to be hard for a team that doesn't know how to win games anymore.
Absolutely. Well, they don't. That's the problem. That's what we were talking about earlier. It's just this team needs a coach that wins to come in. Now, you could say, well, Billy Napier won. Okay, that was the Sun Belt. I watched them play their last game, and right away I was like, I'm not that impressed, but okay, let's see how this works out. But did not work out.
The thing is, Pat, the Georgia game was so typical where they had so many opportunities to make a play or two to win the game, and they just didn't do it. They don't do it. They don't make the plays to win the games.
Lack of creativity on 4th down.
Yeah.
But
when the announcers say ball is getting the ball, I think Georgia knew that too.
Yes, and they plugged the middle. That's where you got to get creative. I actually started writing for this Patreon site that I'm writing for now, and I had the 5 reasons Florida lost that game, and you and I talked about several of them, which is one team knows how to win, one team doesn't. But exactly. the other one was lack of creativity on 4th down, and this team gets no breaks. They get no breaks, but that's it. It's Zook luck. You got to get rid of the Zook luck. You got to get a coach in here who's maybe gotten some breaks in his life.
Yeah, Billy. They never got any breaks with him, and
nope.
It's carrying on without him. So
exactly. All right, number 3 on yes, nowhere, maybe with the great Robbie Andrew. Jimbo Fisher will be back in the SEC next year.
Pat, I'm going to say yes with that because there's so many. There are 4 openings now. He's won a national championship at FSU. I think he's a good coach, and I think in the right situation he could win big. So, I kind of have a feeling he might end up at Auburn, to be honest with you.
Well, Auburn
seems like a good fit.
Yeah, or even Arkansas. If I'm Arkansas, I'm reaching out to Jimbo Fisher. But
they should jump on him right now. He could, he could salvage a recruiting year. He could get things going right now.
All right, Robbie, appreciate you, man. We will talk to you soon, okay?
Okay, Pat, take care.
All right, see you. Okay, we always appreciate Robbie being on the show. Does a great job, as always. Let us get to our Adams Ribco Gator of the Weekend. which we did the Olympic Gator of the weekend, which is usually a female that Christine and Steve Wendig are big supporters of that, and we appreciate them. But let's get to our Gator of the weekend, which we tend to go male. Not always, though. Hey, look, we're versatile here. I'm making it Trey Wilson. And look, Trey Wilson has been invisible this year, and I don't really know why. I guess maybe he's slowed down with that hip, was part of the problem. Part of it was that Vernell and Dallas Wilson did really well and got more throws. But because Dallas Wilson, of course, is out for the year now, was out early in that game, and Vernell wasn't playing, they went to him a lot, and he came through. I thought he had a great game, 9 catches, 121 yards, and a touchdown. Trey Wilson back, that's good. Unfortunately, and hopefully Vernell comes back at some point because he was doing great things. But and again, not only that, but he had to field a lot of punts. He was the only punt returner too. So anyway, Trey Wilson is our Adams Ribco Gator of the weekend. Adams Ribco, your place to go for great ribs, and one of the best places in the world you can go for great ribs. Believe me. Let's move along to our Leonardo's and Millhopper quick pick. And, of course, we're going Maction today. I have to give you a Maction game. It is a Wednesday game, I believe. Let me double check. I think it's a Wednesday game. Yeah, it is Wednesday. And it is Kent State at Ball State. Now, that is not going to ring your chimes, but I don't have baseball to do anymore. I could give you the game tonight, but I can't because, obviously, by the time you listen to this, it will be over. So anyway, I'm giving you the Wednesday game. Kent State at Ball State. Ball State is giving 2.5. Ooh, it's hard to walk into Ball State and win. That game is Wednesday, and anyway, it's 2, 3, and 5 teams. I'm not saying you have to watch it, but you can just send your pick in to patrickdooley54@gmail.com. By the way, that's also the address if you want to be a sponsor or a advertiser here. We've got one opening, and we're hoping to fill it. And we've got a couple of people we're talking to, but if you want to get involved, we'll get you involved on that. All right, let's move along to our mybookie.ag, our betting service, which we appreciate our good friends at mybookie.ag, where you can go bet on anything. Now it's basketball season, so you can bet on college basketball, pro basketball, college football, pro football, casino betting, horse racing. Everything is there for you at mybookie.ag, and we appreciate them for being a sponsor and being part of this show. I've been on fire lately, but not yesterday. I didn't do well on that game. But I'm sticking with the NFL because I still think I'm doing better in the NFL than I'm doing in colleges. So I'm taking the game tonight, and that is, of course, Dallas is only giving up 3 points to Arizona. I think Kyler Murray's out, he's out. I think that's a lot. Dallas is a different team at home. They play great at home. They play terrible on the road. So if they're at home, I think it has to do with that sun coming in there. I think that's why they play so good there. But anyway, it's a night game. But I will definitely take Dallas -3. I think that's a lock bet on mybookie.ag. Appreciate them. Let's move along to our Los Linderos smooth move of the weekend, brought to you by our good friends at Los Linderos Tequila. Go beyond with my favorite tequila and with Urban Meyer's favorite tequila. I got to make it Gunnar Stockton. And it's not because he played so good, but the smooth move was taking that knee at the end of the game. Because, look, I know he cost a lot of people some money, but it was the smart thing to do. And a lot of people just don't, I've had to learn this myself. I remember, I think it was Malik Davis ran in a touchdown, and I think it was Malik Davis. It was somebody anyway. And McElwain was very upset because you got to take a knee there at the 1-yard line. The point is, if you score and you go up 11 points, okay, that's great, but If they run the kickoff back or they hit a bomb or something, and then they onside kick, they can still win the game. If you take a knee, the game is over. And they did that. He did that. Also, running back at Oklahoma did that as well in that game, although they scored on the next play, which kind of made no sense. But anyway, Gunner's good. He is what they need him to be. He's whatever they need. If they need him to score 24, they score 24. If they need him to score 36, they score 36. They need him to score 10, he scores 10. He is what they need him to be, but it was a bad beat, but he is our, Gunner Stockton is our Los Landeros smooth move of the weekend. Let's move along to our BMI TeleMed Overachiever of the weekend, brought to you by our good friends at BMI TeleMed. Achieve and maintain. Give them a call at 727-383-1677. We've told many stories about people losing weight here, including myself, by using BMI TeleMed, our medical weight loss specialists, and we appreciate them for being part of this. I'm going to give the Overachiever to our friends at Oregon State with their interim coach. And that is, they went into the game 1-7, and it's not technically for the Pac-12 championship, but somebody's going to put a banner up or get a trophy. But there's only 2 teams in the Pac-12. One of them's Washington State. I could not believe that CBS got stuck with that as their game of the weekend, at night. Oregon State wins against Washington State 10-7. Now, they do play again later in the year. So I guess if they tie, or if Washington State wins this one, do they give 2 trophies out? Maybe it's just participation trophies. But anyway, there are overachievers of the weekend because I didn't think they could win a game, let alone that game. But they did win. And Washington State's not that bad. They're not Oregon State bad, but Oregon State now it says, hey, we got you. And may get them again. All right. That is our BMI TeleMed Overachiever of the weekend. Let's get to our Gainesville Quarterback Club segment, which we always love doing. Looking forward to it tomorrow. My good friend Charles Davis is coming to speak. That'll be a lot of fun. He is a great guy and, of course, does NFL games for Fox and, of course, played at Tennessee. I'm sure he'll have a lot to talk about with them as well. Good dude, too. Just a great – one story I'll probably tell at the Quarterback Club is I'm watching a game, I don't know, 7 years ago, maybe longer ago than that. And Charles was doing the game, and it was John McKay hat day. He had one of those bucket hats. And they were giving them to, I guess, first 1,000 fans or whatever. And he had one. And I said, oh, man, I want one of those. And I texted him. Like a week later, comes in the mail. Now, I never wear it. But it's still cool to have. Anyway, that'll be great. And then the following week, another good friend of mine, Noah Brandeis, will be the speaker. So, hey, look, it's not too late to get on board the Gainesville Quarterback Club, and it's not too late to renew your membership as well. They're asking for those to get renewed as soon as possible because they're really trying to keep it going. Look, it's been a great year for speakers. Bob Kessling's still to come as well. It's been a great year for speakers, and we've enjoyed it, and look forward to getting over there and giving them a scouting report on Kentucky football. Oh, Nettie. They get coaches fired there. Usually it's their coach that gets fired, but no, they get other coaches fired. All right, let us move along to our Gallo Car Wash Sponge of the Weekend, brought to you by our good friends at Gallo Car Wash, where all 3 of us go to get our cars washed. It is the place to be at Gallo Car Wash. We're going to give it to our friend Deion Sanders, who did not let his players talk to the media, did not let his court, doesn't let anybody. Said, it's on me. You can only talk to me. I'm not letting the players don't need to be talking to you about it. It's all on me. After they got humiliated by Arizona 52-17. That's not a great Arizona team either. This was after losing. I think they lost similar score. I can't remember what it was. They had 14 penalties too. Yeah, it is on you, Deion. And then a lot of it's because your son was there, but he was only there to watch because he doesn't play for you anymore. Travis Hunter's not there. Travis Hunter's not with Jacksonville either. But interesting that he would do that. But it's kind of a spongy move. Look, let me take all the questions. Let me Let me be the spotlight. I'm not a big fan. You know that. All right. Let us move along to our Hesser and Kipke 3 things. Ken and Jen must go to the gym every Sunday because I'm in there a lot of Sundays, and I always see them, and it's great to see them as always. It is brought to you by our good friends at Hesser and Kipke, 352-339-9920 for all your workers' compensation and family law needs, or reach them at www.hklawfl.com. All right. Number one, as I haven't mentioned the World Series, which was ended on Saturday night. I watched it. I was rooting for Toronto, but I'm not heartbroken that the Dodgers won. I'm heartbroken for the Toronto people because that ball is in the air. The game is about to end. Two guys collide as the ball's in the air, and one of them somehow catches it. I still can't believe he caught it. And if you're a Blue Jays fan, or you are root for the Blue Jays, that play is going to go over in your mind. Will Smith hits a homer in the 11th. It was a great playoff series. A great World Series. It was everything you could probably ask for except the Jays winning. But it was certainly interesting, fun to watch. So many big plays. This is a game that they had an 18-inning and an 11-inning game were the two games that everybody was freaking out about. But, hey, give credit to the Dodgers. They won. Best team money can buy. And they were the best team money can buy. Let's get to number 2. And I haven't mentioned this either. And look, they're going to get plenty of attention. But Florida basketball starts tonight. Play Arizona. It's the only ranked-on-ranked matchup in the country tonight. Everybody else is playing Lindenwood or, Long Island. Florida is playing Arizona out in Vegas. Should be a great game. I'm looking forward to watching. Arizona's very good. This is a team that lost in the finals of their conference tournament last year to Houston. Houston. And then lost to Duke in the tournament in the Sweet 16. They're very good. Now, they got 3 of those starters back. They've got 2 freshmen that are starting that are very good. And, of course, Florida's very good, too. It'll be fun. I'm just looking forward to watching it. And also, I don't have to watch it with anxiety like I've watched every game last year with anxiety. Down the stretch and into the tournament and the SEC tournament and the NCAA tournament, it was all anxiety ridden. But tonight I can just watch it and go, hey, win or lose, let's see how they look. That's what I'm looking forward to. And we'll talk about that more on Thursday. That's number 2, and number 3 on our Hesser and Kipke 3 things, and I haven't mentioned this either. Florida has a new interim baseball coach. Tom Slater was hired. He was here in 2004 as an assistant, and they went and got him. He was just working for a major league team. He was the head coach at Auburn for a while. They weren't very good, to be honest with you. I don't know that they brought him in saying, hey, eventually Sully's not coming back or Sully is coming back, and we want you on the staff. I'm not even sure how much, but it was announced by Strickland. Sully's on paid leave. This offseason could not have gone much worse for baseball than it has. And we'll just see where it ends up. But anyway, they've got a new interim baseball coach. His name is Tom Slater. There you have it. All right, that is our Hesser and Kipke 3 things. Let's move along to Mark Gaida. Presents the 10. Mark Gaida, of course, our good buddy from Pepin Realty, does a great job over there. Gave us a nice pumpkin for the holidays. We appreciate that as well. All right, every Monday, Mark Gaida presents the 12, which is the 12 teams that are in the play. I think are going to be in the playoffs. However, I will say this. Today, I'm trying to guess how it's going to come down. Now, it's very hard to understand because if you look at Texas A&M, they have the best strength of schedule among the undefeated teams. But I think they're going to go Ohio State 1, Indiana 2, Texas A&M 3. I think that's a lazy way of doing it. If you study it, I think A&M probably should be 1. You can make an argument for Indiana. Has the best non-conference win. Winning at Oregon, it's pretty good. We'll see how it goes. I think Alabama will be 4. I think Georgia will be 5. I think Ole Miss 6. I think Oregon 7. I've got BYU at 8. BYU plays Texas Tech this Saturday at Texas Tech, and that's the game that's going to pretty much decide who goes from that conference. I got Oklahoma 9th, and then Texas 10th. Now, both those teams, I don't think are going to be there at the end of the day. Don't forget, Oklahoma still got Georgia, I think, or does Texas still have Georgia? Texas still has Georgia. Yeah. It'll be interesting. Then I finally put Notre Dame in there. I got them at 11th because I know the committee's going to put them in there. They're going to look at them and go, it's the Fighting Irish, Knute Rockne and everything, man, Frank Leahy. That's exactly what's going to happen. And they'll stick them in there. I don't think Notre Dame deserves to be in there. And then 12th, I've got Virginia. I think they're going to give Virginia a break and get them in. I may be wrong on that, and I've been wrong a lot this year. But anyway, that's our 12 presented by Mark Gaida and Pepin Realty. Let's wrap it up as we always do with our Swamp Games of the Week, brought to you by our good friends at the Swamp Restaurant. The only place to go to watch big games, man. The Swamp is the place. Don't forget, tonight on TNT, Florida basketball, 7 o'clock. Also, Monday Night Football, 8:15, Arizona at Dallas, ABC. The women also are playing tonight against UNF at home, and that's on the SEC Plus if you want to watch that. I may watch that. Also Tuesday, you've got Tuesday's the next time we have another decent game in college basketball, which is Texas at Duke. Now I don't know how good Texas is. You know, obviously their best player went to the NBA, but that's 8:45 on ESPN. That's worth staying up for, though. Football, Wednesday night, NIU at Toledo on ESPN2. I'll watch that. There are a couple of games on that night, but Thursday, Georgia Southern at App State is on ESPN2. That's a game I'm interested in, to be honest with you. So we'll see how all those games go. Look, you know me, I'm a TV watcher. I've been watching a lot lately. I actually watched the John Candy documentary the other day. I love documentaries. They could do a documentary on Zach, and I would watch it. That would actually be pretty good. I think I would enjoy that.
A lot will be uncovered, yeah.
Then he went to South Carolina. All right. So anyway, I'll be watching all these games and everything. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the show today. Don't forget Chris Doring joins us on Thursday's show. We look forward to that. For Zach, who did a great job as always, for Coach Spurrier, for Robbie Andrew, I am Pat Dooley. I am deep, I am way back, and I am out of here.